Welcome to TV20 News. I'm Dan Monroe. Thanks for watching, and here's what's happening in your neck of the woods. Sabathia has returned to Cleveland numerous times since he was traded in 2008, but his most recent visit was special. Sabathia was drafted in 1998 and pitched for the Cleveland Indians for 8 years. Now the organization is honoring the Cy Young Award winner by dedicating a newly renovated baseball field at Luke Easter Park in his name.
Today we formally dedicate and rename this All-Star field to one of our favorite and forever All-Stars, former Cy Young winner and future Hall of Famer, Sabathia.
You know, Cleveland is incredibly special to us. You know, I always say I grew up in California, but I got a chance to mature here as a man. To have a chance to have a field named after me, you know, our legacy, to forever be here in Cleveland means so much to me. And I want to just thank the Dolans, the Cleveland Indians Charity, you know, Tom Walters and Getting the Game for helping us, you know, kind of cement our legacy and put this together and, you know, have a field named after me here in Cleveland. It's kind of all I ever wanted. You know, the Cy Youngs and winning the World Series and all that stuff is great, but to have an impact on the youth and the community where I was raised was my ultimate goal. And seeing all these young athletes sitting here, had a chance to sit in front of Dave Stewart when I was you guys' age, and it changed my life. So, you know, hopefully, you know, this can impact you guys and you can, you know, impact your community. So just want to say thank you guys to everybody for having us here, and, you know, hopefully we continue to make an impact in the Cleveland community.
Sabathia started his foundation to help inner city kids, and his work in the community is definitely appreciated.
CC kind of came from humble beginnings, and the kids see that it's a good reminder if I work hard, I can achieve things. Obviously, not everyone's going to be a baseball player, but CC, the values we learned from CC are if you work hard and help pave the way for the next person after you, life's going to be good to you.
Current Cleveland Indians pitcher Tristan McKenzie knows firsthand the impact this field will have on young minorities playing baseball.
As a young kid, especially a young black kid in baseball, you look up to people that you can relate to. And I feel like them being able to see that name on the field and be able to come out here and know that that's someone that represents them is huge.
Cleveland Hopkins International Airport officially opened their new ground transportation center. Airport Director Robert Kennedy said this is the start of many projects coming up at the airport.
It is one of our early enabling projects as we move the chess pieces around the airport and we go forward with our master plan. $3.5 million authorized by the air carriers to spend on this. They did also authorize the amount of money for the master plan that we have just now, a couple of weeks ago, submitted all the documentation, completed the process, and submitted to FAA.
The new ground transportation center will also free up traffic around the airport.
When the airport changed from a hub over to an origin and destination airport, the amount of traffic or persons on that roadway increased by 4 million since what we were then. That leads to a lot more congestion on the roadway. At this point, we cannot do anything about the roadway except take buses and commercial traffic off of there.
Kennedy said this project, along with the others in the works for their master plan, will help the airport be ready for what's to come.
And so we need to be prepared for the $250 million. Let me say that again. The $250 million people we'll see over the next 25 years. And so this is an enabling project that helps us.
With Phase 1 complete, the beginning of Phase 2 is just around the corner.
Phase 2 is about 8 weeks away. It's to construct the walkway for passengers to our red and blue lots. We have a temporary, I shouldn't say temporary, we have a walkway in now that will still be available, but there'll be a covered walkway from the terminal all the way out to, that's a more permanent fixture.
Though it's outside, the new ground transportation center comes with heaters to keep travelers warm while they wait for the shuttle buses. Officials from the Cleveland Metro Parks gathered at Wendy Park to designate the first ever Lake Erie Water Trail. Brian Zimmer, CEO of the Cleveland Metro Parks, says the Lake Erie Water Trail will give a safe spot for kayakers and paddleboarders to stop.
Once you get on your kayak, you know that you have a place to go. There's some safe havens. Lake Erie can be challenging in days that the high winds, certainly we want to avoid, or small watercraft advisories, but this is designed as designated safe spots along Lake Erie, all the way from Huntington Beach in Bay Village, all the way over to Sims Park in Euclid.
Ohio Department of Natural Resources Director Mary Mertz says this trail adds to the great trails throughout Ohio.
So the Lake Erie Water Trail joins a network of nearly 1,000 miles of designated trails across Ohio, and each offer exceptional opportunities for Ohioans to see and explore our state from the water. So currently we have trails on the Blanchard, the Cuyahoga, the Great Miami, the Muskingum, Mahoning, Maumee, Kokosing, and Tuscarawas rivers, and the Lake Erie Islands, and now right here. These areas bring communities together, they encourage environmental awareness, and provide opportunities for people of all ages to be active, to get outdoors, and frankly, to have some fun.
Zimmer says the Lake Erie Water Trail reinforces the Metro Park's mission of connecting people to the waterfront.
Well, today is just a great example of the importance of it. It's probably 80-some degrees here on a Friday afternoon. We had 30 to 40 people come help us dedicate this wonderful resource today. We saw boaters going out, stand-up paddle boards, kayakers. This is really about Cleveland Metro Parks. Recreation is one of our pillars of our philosophy between conservation, education, and recreation, and this helps fulfill our mission of connecting people and nature.
For more information on the Lake Erie Water Trail, you can download the Cleveland Metro Parks mobile app or visit clevelandmetroparks.com/paddle safety. Now in its 5th year, the women and a few gentlemen of the Cleveland NAACP came together for some fashion and brunch.
This event is called our Hattitude Brunch and Tea. It's our annual event, but this is really just a feel-good event. Gives the ladies, especially this year, it gives us an opportunity to dress up, get out of sweatpants and jeans and flip-flops, and get into some real clothes. And as you can see, when you look at the room, you see ladies in their various hats. So, it's just a good feel-good fundraiser and our way of giving back to the community.
Alongside brunch, the ladies of the Cleveland NAACP put on a mini fashion show and a best hat competition.
So events like this are an opportunity for us to come together as a community, to show people what we're doing, to encourage each other, to increase our membership. We really want to be able to help teach people how to be a better advocate in whatever space they occupy. Most people are waiting for someone else to do it, but our message to everyone is you can do more than you're doing today.
Later in the program, the floor opened up for a dialogue with former Judge Patricia Blackman.
I went to my mother and I said to her, I am going to Cleveland to go to law school. And she said, there's nothing I can do to help you. I took a bus, 32 hours on a bus. And I promise God, if you get me off this bus, I will never take another bus ever.
To learn more about the Cleveland chapter of the NAACP, you can visit clevelandnaacp.org or call 216-231-6260. Doing Better Than Excellence recently held their 6th annual Fill the Truck event in partnership with Shiloh Baptist Church. Each year, the goal is to overfill a 17-foot U-Haul with essential items for homeless shelters. And this initiative is very important for the company's CEO, Dwayne Evans Jr.
The purpose of our 6th annual Fill the Truck event is to, collect toiletries and blankets to service the community of the homeless population. The reason why we do it is because I was once a survivor of domestic violence and homelessness. So that's the reason why we want to make sure that we give back to that community.
We have a lot of business here doing support. We have a lot of medical outreach people, and they're doing massages, they're doing food, they're doing vaccine, a COVID-19 vaccine inside your church, and it's an awesome event in your neighborhood. Come out and support your neighborhood because they're giving back to you to make sure that you're okay with yourself, let you know what we're giving back to the community for our children.
This event not only helps raise funds for homelessness, it also helps raise awareness across the community because Dwayne has a bigger vision for his company.
Eventually, one of our goals is to have our own shelter so that, because again, the homeless population is still constantly growing, especially with the COVID vaccine. with the COVID-19, epidemic and stuff like that, and the homeless population economy and the way that everything is. So let's say eventually our goal is to have our own shelter one day. So that is our end product, so we can teach our programs and stuff like that in it.
All donations from the event went to the Metanoia Project to help with the efforts of providing better care and provisions for the homeless. We'll be back with more TV20 news right after this.
Young brother, if you pick up this to settle a petty dispute or beef over a girl or perceived diss or territory, there are only two places you will end up. Either in a 6 by 8 foot hellhole known as a prison cell, or here in the cemetery, in an even smaller kind of box, a coffin. We don't need another tombstone, street corner shrine, vigil, or mother in tears wailing about how the son she loved died alone in a hail of bullets on a cold, dark city street. We've had more than enough of that. What we do need, however, are more young men who go on to become business owners, doctors, lawyers, and teachers. More young men who live long enough to become great fathers and grandfathers. Knowing how to load and cock a pistol and pull a trigger doesn't make you a man. So don't settle your arguments with a gun. Talk it out. Don't shoot it out. We give a damn about you. Your life matters.
Welcome back to TV20 News. I'm Dan Monroe. You've probably passed by it numerous times on your way into Cleveland, or notice it in the background as you stroll through Public Square. But what's the history behind the Soldiers and Sailors Monument? I went inside the monument to find out.
The monument was dedicated on July 4th, 1894, making us 127 years old.
Soldiers and Sailors Monument Executive Director Greg Palumbo told me that the idea for the monument started in 1888 after veterans from the Civil War teamed up with Major General James Barnett, the highest-ranking military official from Cuyahoga County, to create a tribute to the war.
They couldn't decide on whether they wanted the traditional shaft with a figure at the top and statuary around the base, or if they wanted a memorial room where you had names and statuary on the interior of a space. So they combined the two into one monument, which made for a unique, really eye-catching experience.
The whole monument took about 6 years to design and build, with famed local architect Levi Schofield leading the project. Palumbo also told me that the names inscribed within the monument are not just of the men who served and died during the Civil War.
The names in here are 9,000 names of men who served during the Civil War. 1,100 of them would die during the war. It also includes the names of the Sanitary Commission and Soldiers' Aid Society, who are women's civic groups that helped in aiding the war effort. They raised money, medical supplies, and comfort goods to send to the war effort.
Palumbo told me the challenge is educating the public into realizing there's more to the monument than the outside.
The biggest struggle we have is in the design of the monument itself, but it's also our biggest blessing. As I said, they molded two styles together of the shaft and statuary along with the memorial room. In order to do that, they didn't want to have the doors be a prominent aspect of that building. They wanted to have that beautiful facade that you see of the statuary on all four sides with, not so much of the obstructions of the doors. So the doors are kind of tucked back behind the statuary on the north and south side of the building. Those doors are open. Come on in between 10 and 5:30 every day of the week, all summer long. In the winter, we do cut back. Sundays and Mondays we're closed, but the rest of the year we are open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5:30. So we really try to get that word out that this is your monument, Cuyahoga County. Come see it.
Now, for more information on the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, visit their website at soldiersandsailors.com. Coming up on its 30th anniversary, TV20 took a trip to the Western Reserve Fire Museum.
The museum was actually thought about and created back in 1992 after a very successful fire truck convention here in the city of Cleveland. And we try to preserve the history and traditions of the American Fire Service, as well as offer fire safety education. And we hope to bring the fire service alive to the members of the greater Cleveland community.
The museum is packed to the brim with historic firefighting equipment, uniforms, and even a few vehicles.
This piece here is one of our most beautiful pieces of fire apparatus. This is a 1918 Waterous gasoline-powered pumper. The gasoline engine that's mounted back underneath this cover was just used to power the water pump, which supplied the water to the fire hoses to help extinguish the fire.
The building doubles as not only a fire museum, but also a fire education center with models on how to put out a grease fire or escape a smoke-filled room. The museum also features a kids' corner.
It's an opportunity for them to play with toys, games, puzzles, do some coloring pages, but all with a fire safety theme. And hopefully along the way they're picking up the fire safety message, but again, in a very fun way.
The museum is open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 to 4, located just across the street from Progressive Field. To learn more, plan a visit, or make a donation, they can be reached at 216-664-6312, or you can visit their website at wrfmc.com. The Midwest Railway Preservation Society is a hidden gem in the city of Cleveland, dedicated to collecting, preserving, educating, and operating railroad history.
Midwest Railway Preservation started in 1946, and their whole idea was doing train trips and, collecting railroad cars and things like that. And then by 1955, they became incorporated as the Midwest Railway Historical Foundation.
Creative preservation is key when it comes to these trains and cabooses.
Like this caboose here behind me, this was built in 1883, and it was for the Grand Trunk Western. It was an old wooden caboose. It's all wood frame. And hopefully when we finish the repairing of the rest of the roundhouse, that's 6 through 10 over there, that caboose can come in and get the proper restoration for it. That means tearing all the wood down and rebuilding it from, making a replica out of it, because there's no way of saving some of that wood on there anymore. The steam engine that's behind me is the famous 4070. A lot of people might remember it because that was the famous steam engine that's been running for over almost 20 years on the Cuyahoga Valley. Our effort now is to getting the other cars fixed up and leased out, and locomotives fixed up and leased out, to bring money in so that we can actually start working on rebuilding this engine. This engine's got a price tag of about $1.2 million to get done. It's not a cheap operation.
One of the biggest attractions is the 62 car, which is named the Death Car because 28 people died from steam from a railway accident.
So this car became famous because of all the paranormal events that goes on here. The windows slam shut for no reason at all. You hear people screaming, "Get out!" All kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, last week one of the workers was saying that they were working on removing some of the windows to repair them, and one guy says, "There's a hand over your shoulder." So it's been on a lot of TV shows. It's been on Ghost Hunters, Haunted Histories, all kinds of paranormal investigation shows. The famous Death Car. There's people from all around the country who've been coming to ride in this car and do investigations.
The Midwest Railway has a long history in the city of Cleveland, and they're still standing.
This building was built in 1906, opened for business in 1907, and basically had over 480 people working around the clock here when it was railroad. It's one of the last few railroads, roundhouses in Cleveland that started as a railroad and still is operation as a railroad.
For more information on the Midwest Railway Preservation Society, visit their website at midwestrailway.org. The 42nd annual Cleveland Kite Festival brought a number of kite enthusiasts and spectators to Edgewater Park to participate and enjoy a great family-friendly event.
It's a beautiful day. It's sunny. We've got wind, no rain. Doesn't get any better than this. We love flying kites. It's a great time. We meet down at Edgewater on the second Sunday of every month, and we put the festival on every summer.
Kite flying is a great hobby for kids and adults. It gets you outdoors and moving, and will also keep you amused for hours.
I'm a retired guy, and I just started flying kites about 10 years ago. And then when I retired, it was very easy for me to step from into a lot more kite flying than what I had been doing before. So I've really enjoyed this, and it gives me a sense of peace. I can get away from other things and just enjoy the outside and see the colors in the sky, and it just is a sense of peace and relaxation for me. So it's something I've really enjoyed doing.
There have been studies that say if you spend time looking up in the sky, it relieves your stress. It makes you calm or lowers your blood pressure. So it's a wonderful thing for that.
Kites come in all shapes, sizes, and materials, but what makes for the best kite?
You can make a kite out of just about anything. If you look behind, there's a train of 75 kites made out of garbage bags. Some of the expensive kites are made out of what's called ripstop nylon. It's 3/4 ounce. It's the same material as a boat sail. The original kites were boat sails, aquarium tubing for the fittings, and arrow shafts. They've evolved into pultruded graphite frames, high-tech materials, high-tech designs. Kites are designed right now. We can fly indoors with no wind doing ballets to music, just by walking backwards, flipping the kite over, re-clipping your land. It's a great hobby. Once you buy the kite, wind is free.
There are a number of different competitions held during the festival, but one of the most popular is the Mystery Ballet.
They play a piece of music that the kite flyer doesn't know what music it is, may have never heard that piece, and they have to fly the kite and coordinate the kite's movements to the music. And we pick 5 people out of the crowd who've never flown kites to judge it and see how it looks to the average person.
We've been supporting kite flying and encouraging people to get out and fly for 43 years now, so we really enjoy doing what we do.
For information on the Cleveland Kite Festival or the Ohio Society for the Elevation of Kites, visit osekcleveland.org. TV20 is streaming live 24/7. Visit TV20cleveland.com to see our live feed and more. Stay connected with TV20 wherever you go by liking and following us on Facebook and Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to watch our numerous programs. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan Monroe. Be sure to stay tuned for more on TV20. We are Cleveland.